Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seal Podcast, episode number 168.
Oh, do you know what? I'm not sure I updated that.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was 167 last week. So 168. Yes, welcome to the show. As organized as ever.
Yeah. Well, I was organised, honest.
Yeah, well, we are organized. I mean, we have lots of stuff, but yeah, the show. I'm out of breath from just running up the stairs.
You went to turn your game off, did you?
I'm unfit.
Oh, what was it? 168?
Yeah, I think it's 168. That'll do.
Just change that now quickly. There we go.
Thank you, Neil. Joined on my left by the aforementioned Neil.
Hello.
On my right by Dave.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm looking at the show notes, and it looks as though we've got a lot to get through here. But at the same time, we're probably a little lighter on football this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, not as light as we will be next week.
No. So without further ado,
spiel.
Let's get Neil, the spiel from Neil.
Yes. The footy spiel from, whatever. Anyway. So, fewer games in the week just gone. Only 7 matches played. Arsenal continue to dominate, smashed Palace 4-1 at home. Chelsea slipped up and managed to draw at home to Everton 2-2 after looking like they were going to win. Leeds won away at Wolves, who had 2 men sent off. One of them didn't even, actually, I'm not even sure, managed to get on the pitch before he was sent off, which is pretty impressive.
What was that?
Wolves had a man sent off for one of their players. If he's in your team, unlucky because he didn't even get on the pitch and he was sent off, so he got -3 points for Mateus Nunes, I think it was. I said they were down to 9 men, but actually I think they're only down to 10 because I didn't realise at the beginning of time that one of them wasn't even on the pitch. So Leeds won 4-2. I don't know. I think it just all kicked off. I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I don't really know. It kicked off a bit, I think. Spurs were back on form and let Southampton back in after holding a 2-goal lead to draw 3-3, leading to an absolute mega moment of a meltdown from manager Conte. Still current manager, as far as I know. Probably not going to be there much longer there.
What was the was there any blowback from that from anyone, like on the Tottenham side or whatever?
It just happened like straight into an international break, so nothing's really happened yet, other than there's like talk of people not being very happy about being told that they were fucking work shy and shit, basically. So yeah, I don't think he'll be there. He's only there till the end of the season, technically. Not sure they're going to renew his contract for one, and it's whether he stays there till the end now, I guess, is the thing. Because I'm not sure he's got the dressing room behind him, shall we say, at the moment.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. Brentford and Leicester played out 1-1 draw, and Aston Villa won convincingly 3-0 over Bournemouth at home. And the poor old Tricky Trees lost at home to Newcastle 2-1 on the first game of the weekend, Friday night. So, player performance-wise, Bukayo Saka top scored. 2 goals and an assist with the free bonus, 18 points. Oh, do you wish you'd captained him? I did.
Oh, very good.
Oh, of course. I'm. It's next week. We won't have much to talk about, is it? That's right. Sorry, of course, because we still had that. Yeah. So, yes,
So, we're catching up on what happened last week. So, next 16 players are what you would definitely categorise as differentials, as they're all owned by less than 10% of teams. So, Abdoulaye Doucouré, owned by 0.1%. And Alexander Isak of 2.8% both scored 13 points.
Wow.
Tyrone Mings come in at 12 points. He's owned by 4.8% of teams. Teammate Douglas Luiz got 11. He's 0.5% of teams. And Theo Walcott, remember him?
Yeah.
Apparently nobody else does, because he's owned by 0.0% of teams. But he also got 11 points last week.
Oh, wow. Who does he play for these days?
Southampton.
Yeah.
So,
well, Southampton isn't a big pick, is it, really?
No, definitely not. There's only one player who tends to get picked from the Southampton squad, I'd say, and that's James Ward-Prowse, who scored the last minute penalty or whatever it was against Spurs that caused the massive kick-off. So, in our league, top scorer on the week, Chris Jackson, 88 points. Went up to 9th. That's an absolute belter. He played a wild card and just hit everything right. I think pretty much. I don't know if he had any blanks really, but that was a great week for him. I got second on the week.
Ooh,
69.
Nice.
So I went up to second in the league. Ooh. And Phil Taylor got 59, stayed 11th, but a good week on the scores. So the top three now. Paul Davies, still hanging on, 1,712 points, but only 22 last week. Oof.
Boy, now you made some good ground on him. My view, I would have thought you would never, ever have a chance to get up there to that top spot, but all
only
bets
36
are
points
off.
now.
All bets
36
are.
points.
Oh my God! Can you taste it? Are you getting a little bit nervous?
I am. I'm not about nervous. I'm looking at this next double game week. I've got a couple of yellows at the minute on my squad. I'm just like, hopefully they're going to be fine by the time the actual game week kicks off because it's Haaland and Rashford. But yeah, I've got a lot of players playing twice in the next game week coming up. So anyway, back to the league quickly, just to say,
He's on script,
Lord's third. 1,672 points. So it's pretty close between second and third at the minute. He only got 44 last week. So I had a big move on the top two last week. So FA Cup results were in last week. That's why there was only a few games. FA Cup was last weekend. Excuse me. So in week 32, there will be no Brighton v Man City or Man United Chelsea, which was scheduled for that week. So they will obviously be played later on in the season. But not in that game week 32. So you're going to be missing a few Brighton, Man City, Man United, Chelsea players, which are probably quite a few players at this stage of the season, bearing in mind how things have been going. So obviously we're on the international break, so no one's watching any football because it's all shit. So you need to keep an...
The international football is not shit.
Yeah, it's fucking boring. No one cares.
Didn't you hear Neil was ranting and raving about it the other night?
Yeah. Well, I didn't watch the first half when England played well. I came down to watch the second half, and I said to my son, look, within about 30 seconds of the second half starting, I was like, you know what? I reckon it'll be 2-1 within 10 minutes. And about 55 minutes, they scored. It was 2-1. I was like, there we go, fucking go. And then I started going on, I'm like, why is he playing Calvin Phillips? He hasn't played for Man City all season, and he's playing the whole game for England. And I was just like, I just had to walk away. I was losing my plot. But we did manage to hold on to a 2-1 win, so Italy must be fucking terrible.
Well, they weren't in the last World Cup.
No, they have missed the last two World Cups, I believe. So yeah, they've got no strikers. They've gone to a guy who's actually he's got Italian heritage, I guess you would say. His maternal grandfather, I think, was Italian, who's actually Argentinian. That's how bad it's getting for Italy, that they've got to go to an Argentinian to get a striker.
Yeah.
Whereas we've been blessed with strikers apparently over the last 40 years. That's one area of relative strength for England. Not all across the whole entire squad, but yeah, we have quite a lot of good finishers over the last 40 so years. So what I would say, obviously, don't make any transfers until after all the international fixtures are finished. The first game of the next game week is the 1st of April. So we've got plenty of time. Anything could happen between now and then in terms of injuries. I know that one of the guys, I think it's a Stupinan of Brighton. Is he Colombian or something? But he's got to fly to Australia and back shortly before his next game in the league. So he might be a little bit tired, potentially, for the next game week. So there's things like that you need to keep an eye on. Look for players literally travelling the entire distance around the world.
Yeah, or he's going to be bitten by a poison
spider. Yeah, frog or something.
Kicked in the head by a kangaroo.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they'll I know a lot of Argentina played back home in Argentina this week and like yesterday, I think. So there's a lot of travelling going on. So players you might think have been doing really well all of a sudden might not play because they've actually not slept for like 3 days or whatever. And the next game week, as I said, 21st of April, the first game of the weekend, Man City, Liverpool. Looking forward to that one. And there's obviously loads of double game weeks. Plenty of opportunities to score points in the next week. That's the roundup.
All right. Okay, thank you, Neil.
Well done. How did you get on?
I did all right. Not as great as I would have liked. I made a poor choice in my captain, if I remember correctly.
I think you had a few points on the bench as well, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I left Martinelli on the bench, who was an iffy. So you can't have, whatever. I can't have it all. But
it's becoming difficult to
that.
pick Martinelli now, isn't it? Like Jesus is back fit. They've got a lot of options up front now.
Yeah, I did all right. I was, I think I scored 56 or something like that. It was way above the average.
Yeah,
So, trending in the right
definitely.
direction.
I had some nice green arrows last week. I was good after a few weeks on the red. Still a long way. I was looking at the top of the whole thing. It's something like 9. He's nearly on 2,000 points. The person who's at the top of the whole thing. I was like,
wow,
that's crazy.
Oh,
like, it's nearly 300 points ahead of us. Mad.
Yep, it's nuts. Okay, all right. Thanks very much. I know we've got lots of stuff from the mailbag, so let's crack on with that. The first one I can see here is from a friend of the show, John Mouse. He says, "Are we allowed to call him that anymore?" He rebranded himself, didn't he? Like Prince, he's called Major Revenge now.
The John formerly known as Mouse.
Yeah. He says, "Have you ever bought a game more than once? I've bought Assassin's Creed Syndicate 3 times now. Bought it and completed on the PS4, then bought standard version on the Series S, and then during a sale bought the gold version. That is just the base game with all the DLC. It was cheaper than the season pass. I also realized I've bought Lost Planet 2 on Steam, PS3, Xbox 360, and then the digital version on the Series S. Getting Lost Planet 2 to work on Steam is an absolute biatch." Is
that a Games for Windows Live job? Probably something stupid.
I don't know. That's an old game now.
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've bought Battlefield 4 multiple times. I think I bought it originally I bought it on the PS3, bizarrely, which then got me a cheap upgrade to the PS4 version, which I then ended up buying the Xbox version. And then I bought it on PC as well. So
nice.
That's 4 times I think I bought that game. That was a bit like John's upgrade and all that stuff. Yeah, so yeah, similar to that Assassin's Creed story. But I don't think I've bought anything else that many times.
I know I've bought a few copies of FIFA over the last 10 years, so it's basically the same game.
Just the same game, but it's got a different number at the end.
Yeah, pretty much. Hunt Showdown.
When are you buying that again?
I bought it again last weekend because it was on sale.
Oh, did you? Brilliant.
I haven't installed it or purchased it or anything yet.
But no, right. I did notice you bought one with all the DLCs.
Yeah.
So you can't refund DLCs now. You can't refund them. Well, the DLCs you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Didn't used to be able to do like the DLCs.
Well, he's not refunding this one anyway. Not this time.
He hasn't played it.
Just not installing it or playing it.
Is this the third time you bought it?
This is the third time I've bought it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but you haven't paid 3 times for it. You've got your money back twice before.
I paid and refunded it.
Yeah.
Actually, this is an apt question for this week because it's just been re-released again. But Resident Evil 4, I'm losing count how many times I've bought that.
I'm not sure the new version counts as the same game.
Getting up there. Well, it's close. Maybe close.
Is it?
I don't know.
I'm not sure if you played the original.
Well, you know what? I don't need it to count, and I haven't bought it anyway. But I bought like the original GameCube version, then I bought it on the PlayStation 2.
Have it on the Wii?
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it on the Wii.
Oh, nice. The definitive version, I believe.
The Xbox. Yeah, so they say. I never really played it much on the Wii, even though I bought it. Xbox 360. I think I had it for the Xbox One, and then I needed to buy it. I don't know if I bought it again. No, I think Resident Evil 5, I needed to buy that again because Pilch was playing it. And so even though I owned it on the Xbox 360, I had to buy it again for the Xbox
One.
No, I had the... Yeah, the Xbox One, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, lots of purchases there. So,
wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely bought those games too many times. Yeah, thanks, John. Appreciate that. Quaxel has written in. He says, "Hi, gents. What would your specialist subject be on Mastermind?" Anyone?
I'm
I had
not
a
sure I
think.
could have one of these.
I for the first time in a long time, I sat and thought about a question before we got to the asking it on the
Did you
show.
find an answer?
No,
Because
not on this one.
I thought about this as well. I was like, I don't know if there's anything I really know anything enough about. Because
I don't.
I haven't watched Mastermind for a long while, but I watched them in the old days, and it's like
Yeah.
they are some right. You think, oh yeah, I know about this. When someone's like, "This my special subject is whatever," you're like, "Oh, I know a bit about this," and then you don't get any answers right at all. You're like,
Well, I remember somebody choosing like Harry Potter as their mastermind thing, and they literally got nothing right, like no question right, or maybe they got one, but they sat there like pass, 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 and it was just like, yeah,
they just find the
Yeah.
most obscure stuff for you.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm very wary of this question because I was sitting there thinking, well, what about the stuff that I do for work? I mean, could that be a
Nah.
special subject? I was like, no, my boss knows way more about that. My boss makes me realize every day I know nothing about what I do.
What about
And then I was,
HVAC? Your
well,
old
that's
job.
it, right? Yeah, no, that's the same sort of thing. And then I was thinking about, like, I'm a massive fan of The Orb, right? The band The Orb. And then I was like, they'd probably end up asking you, so, on their second album, on the third track, they brought in a specialist oboe player to do
Yeah.
whatever. Who was that? It's like, I didn't even know there was an oboe on there, right? So there's no way I know enough. So I know I'm probably the same as you guys and lots of people. I know tons of stuff. I
Tons of
think I'm very,
unimportant, useless information about stuff.
I know lots and lots about things, but not a great deal about any particular one. So I'm not an expert on anything, I don't think.
I mean, I have worked at Tesco a long time. I'm probably quite good at stuff at Tesco's.
Yeah, I know, but you don't really want to do it on your job.
It would look
do
pretty
you?
embarrassing if I would get anything wrong, wouldn't it? Like I wouldn't know anything about like the history of Tesco's, just like how things work, stuff like that. I'd probably know quite a lot about, but that's really shit, isn't it?
It's a bit lame, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well, the people that goes on to mastermind are like have been doing like 20 years of study in a specific subject. Like I don't know the
Not Harry Potter, obviously.
not Harry Potter, but things like the royal family.
Yeah.
That's what they've been like just reading and researching and publishing new papers and they live their life in the subject
Oh
of
yeah, absolutely.
you
I have a
know
friend of mine. I think he's absolutely hands down the country's most renowned expert on Dylan Thomas. Right, but
Right.
I don't. But I'm nowhere near that level of expertise on anything. I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. We did win the quiz the other week, but there was no
Yeah,
specialist subject in that. That's for sure. My specialist subject is a bit of everything, but nothing really technically detailed.
jack of all trades, master of none. Right.
Yes, indeed. Well, the second bit's right, anyway.
Yeah, Quaxel has a second question. He says, "What can I do to get out of my gaming lull? Nothing is gripping me, no matter what sort of game I try. Cheers and keep up the good work."
I guess don't beat yourself up about not wanting to play games. Would be my thing, but
Yeah, it's one of those things. Gaming is it? So like most of us, we've probably been so into it.
I've just
What do you
caught a
got?
fly.
nice.
Oh,
It's
nice.
all right, Miyagi.
I literally just plucked that out of the air. Sorry.
Where's your chopsticks?
I know. Right, get in there. Bugger off. Right, steady.
I
Sorry.
think we're yeah, I think that Neil's correct, right? Don't beat yourself up over it. I mean, it's one of those things like it's very odd. I think when you're younger, like I can see it in my kids now. It's like all they want to do is play video games. Like any spare moment, they want to play video games. And I think when you're at that level obsessed, which most of us have been at some point, and your passion suddenly disappears a bit, it's very easy to maybe sort of panic a little bit and think, where's the magic gone, right? But I think
Yeah.
I've definitely noticed over the past few years, it just comes in waves, and just sometimes I'm big back into gaming, and then it just sort of the tide goes out a little bit and I need a break, and I'm not so in love with it. And
Sometimes when I get a lull in gaming on a computer, I just get a pack of cards out and I play with the missus or the little one, and play like solitaire between ourselves, or
interact with the family.
Ugh.
interact with a family. Yeah.
Don't think he's that
Um,
desperate.
or just get the Connect 4 out. Connect 4 is always a winner in our house.
Yeah, I don't know. We've got like a travel Connect 4, I think. And it might be not IKEA. It's some random shop in Milton Keynes that's like everything's in, looks like Scandinavian type language. But,
a Scandi Connect 4.
yeah.
But yeah, like, gaming's not only about like just sitting in front of a TV screen. Is that people have been playing games for tens of thousands of years. Just get something just do something you enjoy.
You could become super nerdy and do like D&D or something.
You could go immerse yourself in a subject and become a mastermind expert.
Indeed, yeah. It's probably a better use of time, to be honest. I'm not sure what the prize for mastermind is these days, other than
I don't know. Is it still on?
I think it has been. I don't know if it is now, but I've definitely seen it in the last couple of years.
It's like a glass bookmark or something.
Wow.
What does that mean?
It's not like what that thing is. What's that thing with Danny Dyer on a Saturday night? You don't have to be too clever to win that.
A book weight. You're on about cheat.
I don't know what it's fucking called. The Wall or something, isn't it? I don't
know. Yeah, there's just like a big glass thing that says Mastermind on it. And use proper books.
Get on Tipping Point. That's a piece of piss.
Okay, Quaxel, thank you for that. Chipper Spice, friend of the show, says, question for the show. Do you ever buy games for full price or do you wait for them to go on sale? And pardon, she says, if it's been answered already. I don't think we've ever been asked that directly, but I mean, most of us already know the answer to this question.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I actually paid full price for a game. I've bought games when they come out. I think probably Elden Ring is the last one I bought, but I definitely bought that from a third-party seller. Legit one, not a legit one. Green Man Gaming, not like a shady one. Yeah. So I definitely got that for like 38 quid instead of 50 or whatever. So I don't think...
I'd still say you paid. Well, I don't know.
It's not full price.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it?
It was like 20% off or something stupid. So I was like, yeah, I'll have that. I was well looking forward to it, and I wanted to play it on release. And then when I saw it for like on Green Man Gaming for like 20% off, I was like, "That's a winner!" So, and like, I was eyeing up Resident Evil 4 today. I have to say.
Yeah. Did you pull the trigger?
No, but Shop 2 are doing a PC code for £37.50 or something. I was like, that's like it's not on a super sale, but it's definitely quite a lot cheaper than full price.
What is it full price?
50.
It's just being a crafty consumer.
I haven't bought a full price game for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I've bought one or two in the last couple of years, but it's only on games that I'm looking forward to. They normally don't.
When you buy a full price game, though, it's only like 30 quid, isn't it? Like your weird games.
Yeah.
You're not buying like fucking Final Fantasy 7 Remake at 70 quid.
No. That's like 10 games of mine.
The thing is, we're all old and wizened now, and we can all wait. I think we all have a little bit more patience.
I don't know. I might buy that Resident Evil 4 by the end of the day.
Yeah, but you'll still be picking it up on the cheap,
the
cheaper though. You're not just sort of blindly going out and I don't know any of us. We're not the pre-order types or anything like that. So,
well, I pre-ordered Destiny 2 Lightfall, but like I say, that was another Green Man Gaming job, and it was like 17% off or whatever. So
right.
But I always look on those sites because that's the beauty of PC, isn't it? It's like you don't really get that opportunity on a console. The only thing you can do on consoles probably is buy the currency, like buy gift cards. You can usually pick them up for cheaper than they actually cost. So I've definitely bought 90 quid worth of PlayStation credit for like 70 for something pounds. So it's already saved you like 15% or whatever. And I still then tend to use those on sales stuff as well, so save a bit more because things generally are a little bit more expensive on consoles, even on sales. It's not all the time, but most of the time.
Yeah, I think about 5-6 years ago, maybe I was still buying games new regularly. And I think that changed after I started playing. Oh, actually, it might have been a bit longer than that. It changed after I started playing World of War. No, not World of Warcraft. World of Tanks.
Oh yes, we don't pay for
And
that.
that no, wait, no. Well,
You do.
you do.
You do
And
by the
he
end of it.
did.
You buy the tanks, and then like my spending habits went from buying like a game every month,
A
to
tank every day.
buying a tank or a bundle
Yeah.
every month and that. And then after then, I think I sort of didn't buy so much stuff.
They were doing boosters, weren't they? So you could if you had the premium account, I think it was, then you got a multiplier on your experience,
Yep,
which was
exactly. Yep,
hard to ignore once you hit a certain level.
yep, yep. So it's once you're going into like tier 8 and 9 tanks, you have to have a booster. You just to earn the amount of money that you need to play again with the ammo and everything. If you didn't have a booster, like you'd have to go back into the lower ranks, do well in them to have enough money to buy the ammo and to repair your tank and go back in. Yeah, it's just it was such a money pit. But it's fun.
Good
But
game.
yeah, there was a lot of weight on winning or not being destroyed, because it affected all the games following on from that. Yeah, that is a. But I'm
I
glad
got into
I'm
that for a
out of it
little
now.
while. I was playing that for a little while. Can't remember. We were all playing that for a little while. It wasn't very
Yeah, I
long,
think
I
I
don't
played
think.
with Dave back in the day. That was back midlife gamer days.
Yeah.
All right, good question. Thanks,
I
Chipper.
think I remember one particularly I got burned in a big way on that I did pre-order was the Halo Master Chief Collection, which I did pay. That was full bucks
Oh,
back in the day when that came out, because I was like, oh, all the Halo games in one place. That sounds amazing. And then it was an
turns out it wasn't so
absolutely
amazing.
broken piece of shit when it came out. So
Yeah.
that was a bummer. I don't know if that's the last thing I bought. Maybe. That's a long time ago if it was. Can't remember.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chipper. Appreciate it. We have some more here that came through from the Twitters. Friend of the show, Column says Switch 2, when will it be released? Do we know? Do we have a date on that? Has anybody got an idea? Is it a thing, Switch 2?
No, this is in our opinion. When do we think it will come out? Will it ever come out? Will there be a Switch 2?
I'd say yes.
There's got to be a new Nintendo console. But do they just go,
I don't
that was
think
great,
Nintendo...
and let's just do something completely different now?
I think I would go with that. I think they would, rather than have the headache of trying to do a new iteration, I could see them going with something completely different.
I did hear I was listening to the Giant Bomb recently, and someone suggested that they might just have the Switch as basically go back to having the 2 and having a Switch as the handheld option, and then building, and the next console would be a proper home console with more.
Well, like a Wii U, but the Switch is the handheld console for
Will there be I don't know if it
new.
would be compatible. Like, I think because obviously the 3DS wasn't compatible with the Wii or the Wii U, was it? They had 2 separate platforms, so they were thinking maybe they just go back to having the Switch is the mobile device that still chugs away and has got fucking 100 or million people with them, and then they bring something new out, which is just a home console. And I'm like, I can see them doing that, but I don't know.
Like,
I don't know if they can, because the software side, they've got everyone's now on Switch from like on Nintendo side.
Following on from that, following that line of thinking, you could see them doing a desktop, sort of a console for the home, but your Switch is able to
stream
stream from it.
I don't see why they couldn't do that. I'm sure it must be able to. I think Nintendo are
so
in a
it'd be like having a
perfect
Wii U again.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Yeah, but the Wii U was a good console.
Yeah.
Right, the
Was
Wii U
it?
didn't suffer. Yes, the Wii
It
U
was, yeah.
wasn't a problem because it was a bad console. It was a problem because nobody could differentiate what it was.
Yeah.
You know, the average consumer had no idea. It's another one of these companies, you know, like Microsoft have done it. They completely screwed up the naming convention, got everybody confused. I literally was on a podcast with my mate. And part of our podcast was talking about gaming, and I remember one time he asked me about the Wii U. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be on top of this stuff, and he didn't know. It was just a farce, right?
Yeah. I know I
Mm.
joke about the Microsoft Xbox, but like
That's
I
no joke, though, is it?
no.
It's shockingly bad. It's just terrible state of affairs.
Why did they not want to just call things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Why did they not want to do that?
Or at least just give them a real different name to differentiate, the
Yeah.
series of the consoles. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, these people don't know.
What's the next one going to be from Xbox then?
Xbox X.
Xbox aren't going to have
Xbox.
another one. They're done,
Xbox.
mate. Xbox is cooked. I don't think they're going to have another console.
Of course, fucking are.
All right.
What are they going to do then?
It's just going to be. It's going to be called.
What do I
Microsoft
think
Game
they're
They're
gonna
just
do?
going to go full, like do like the rest of Microsoft and just become a services company. They
Yeah,
It's
just
just. It's
provide
just
games.
going to be
I tell you-
Microsoft Game Pass. That's what it's going to be. And
Yeah,
it will.
It's,
Yeah.
it's been that prediction by me for a long time. They're going to disappear, but the console side is going to disappear. From the hardware side is done for Microsoft. They can't afford it. They can't compete. They can't beat Sony. They're fucking everything up. But what they can do is provide games as a service, through something like Xbox Live. Get the other people on board. Get other companies on board.
That's not going to happen unless PlayStation agree to have a Game Pass on there, is it? There's no way they can't possibly get enough people in.
But it doesn't have to be But that's not what you said. You said, is there another Xbox?
There's
no reason. There's no reason why an LG or a Samsung or a Panasonic or someone else or an Acer or Nvidia produces a console that can
Have
run.
you read the next question?
Runs Game Pass.
No.
No. Anyway. That's always been my prediction. Like, I think the Steam Deck, I think, proves that it's possible, right? That somebody can release hardware.
Thing is that I don't know if anyone else would be so loose with what you can do with that piece of hardware. Like, if someone else creates that piece of hardware, there's no way they're going to let you fucking just put anything on there like Valve have done. Like, you can basically do anything on that Steam Deck.
Why not? If you
because
know
they
that
want
you
your
can,
money.
right, but if they know, like, say somebody like Sony's out, right? Sony's got their own ecosystem, but say somebody else who can build electronics like a Panasonic, right? Gears up. They have all the factories and the know-how to do it. Gears up, puts together a console that's a good price that can run,
Basically a PC in a box.
Absolutely. How hard can it be?
Well, it's not hard managed to make a PC in a box. It's not that hard. I've only made one though.
I built a PC a couple of days ago. How hard can it be? Right? I think Microsoft is done on that on the hardware side.
I would be surprised if they didn't bring something else out.
I don't know. I just don't.
I think they make more money off subscription-based stuff.
Yeah, but it relies on them having a platform like the Xbox.
Well, I can play Xbox.
Yeah, I know you can, but like
on my phone,
a lot
I can
of
play
people.
Xbox games on my iPad.
Yes,
Yeah.
But Apple don't like that, do they? They
All
make
right,
it
well,
awkward.
Okay, but
So-
Apple are also coming around to the fact that they can't have it their own way. It's just things do change.
Anyway, my opinion is they will definitely bring at least one more console out. Like proper end one.
If
This is a new
Microsoft partnered
predictions
with
episode.
if Microsoft partnered with Amazon and made it available that you can use the Xbox controllers on a Fire Stick, and the Fire Stick can interact with the Xbox game service, you've got a console there. They've already
They've got
the
their own
technology.
thing, to be fair, haven't they? Amazon have got their own thing that they want to push.
Or whatever non-Fire Stick, but
Google. You know,
Google.
they're already there waiting, aren't they? Come on, Microsoft.
Yeah, I just think the models of old. It's just we've been so used to the way it's been for the last 10 or 15 years. I just don't think it's going to be.
I just don't know. I think the whole Google Stadia thing just says that people want a machine.
Hopefully the Seal podcast will be around long enough that we can find out.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've always been sad about. If I die, it's like, I won't see what happens, what changes. You
can watch from heaven, Dave.
If there's one way I'm going, it's not up.
Okay. Colin also says, do you think it will be the Switch 2 would be backward compatible? Well, we don't even think there's going to be a Switch 2, so I think that's a moot point. But he's asking if it's going to be backward compatible.
I like that idea that you said, Dave. Like it would just be like the Switch becomes like a streamer from whatever they bring out next.
Yeah, I want tastier cartridges. I don't like the taste on the.
Well, they put stuff on them to make them taste nasty.
No, I know. Put nice flavour on them.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Kids eat them and they
make
get
it taste
sale.
like Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, but
or is that what it tastes like already?
They get to sell more games because people eat them.
Everyone's
just money. There's money leaving on the table.
Thanks, Colin. Much appreciated. Paul W says, do you think there will ever be a new big console competitor to take on the might of Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony?
You mean Nintendo and Sony, obviously, not Microsoft.
I think we sort of answered that already.
I think
about
just
Sega?
Went into that.
Sega.
Sega, no. They realised the error of their ways. Yeah.
The return of Atari.
Isn't that guy doing that? They have tried.
Yeah.
Haven't they? Is that Tommy Tallarico? Is that he's from Atari? Is he Atari?
I think it's in name only. Yeah, it's not the original Atari.
There was an Atari. Wasn't there something released recently where there was an Atari and there's a subscription service with it and there's access to loads of games or whatever? I'm sure it died a death.
I'm not sure it actually came out, the Atari thing.
There was talk of it, and they I think they've done a Kickstarter.
It was like an Android box that looked like the old Atari 2600 or whatever, I think. Yeah. It was like a wood panel.
Do you mean there was some sort of generic box that could run?
It could run Atari 2600 games. Woohoo!
Imagine the cooling you'd need for that.
It could solve the energy crisis in one fell swoop, though, because everyone would be running games that are like 64K instead of 64 gigabytes.
MS Rangers says, evening team Seals, for this week's thoughts. Is your time truly wasted if you enjoy wasting it?
No.
It's time spent well, I think.
That's 2 out of 3. I don't think so.
If you enjoy the pastime of doing whatever you want with your time, if it's sitting in a crate staring at a ceiling,
studying ceilings for Mastermind.
It's your time. You value it however you want to. Don't worry about what other people think you're wasting your time doing. Your time's your own.
Yeah, worry about what we think.
Who am I to judge? Who am
I? He says, when you know the battery is dead, why do you press harder on the remote control?
Because it works.
Well, it's, I suppose when you know the battery is dead, then yeah, sometimes it can be the button.
Don't you get them out and rub them?
And then I look at the batteries. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dave makes a good point here, because I have, in my many years on this planet, have now come to realize that remote controls, the buttons on remote controls, do fade over time. They can be cleaned. They've got that sort of, what is it? It's almost like that sort of iron disc or something, right?
Yeah, it's
the rubber contacts. Yeah. They can be cleaned.
Yeah.
So I have a remote control here. Here's a remote control to my Denon. It was an absolute pig to get. It's
probably bigger than the actual device.
Look at the size of that, Neil. You don't get many of them to the pound, mate.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, look, it takes 2 hands to hold this.
And the remote control.
Yeah, so this was not working very well, but I
I'm
managed to
feeling
take it
left out
apart.
today.
Don't get envious. But I did clean the contacts on that, and it works like a beaut now.
Nice. Did you have any
Um,
special tools for that?
Isopropyl alcohol and Q-tips.
How'd you get it apart though? Because they're usually a right fucking nightmare. These things.
Not
You have to
easy.
like snap it open.
You need a spudger.
You need to,
Oh.
yeah, I was going to say your spudger to
Yeah.
oh, it's good. Yeah, I like
So
a good
what's a
spudger.
spudger then?
It's a spudger, isn't it?
It's a plastic
Yeah.
tool, is it? Looks like a screwdriver, but it's softish, so it doesn't
Yeah.
snap
Exactly.
break
So,
things.
so if you're watching, here's a little spudger. It's
Oh,
a,
look
it's
at
a
that!
little,
It's got a little clip, little hook
yeah,
on
it's a
the
little
end of it.
thing that like hooks underneath the plastic, and then you sort of eke it along
Wiggle
a little bit. Yeah, wiggle it along
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit, and
that was the song I couldn't remember the other week.
Acid groove.
Yeah, that's the one with all the rude words in, isn't it? So a lot
I
of
don't
this is
know.
quite rude, isn't it? Pretty sure that's the rude one.
Sure. I've got a variety of spudgers in front of me. I've got my little disc here. It's got like 3
Have you been
different.
working on phones?
I've been working on phones. Yeah, I've got a little toolbox.
Nice.
With like.
That's quite a big
hang on.
toolbox, to be fair.
It's tiny. It's
For a
100,
phone.
100 yeah, it's 115 pieces. And
Wow.
it's got all the different types of spudgers and tight like security. Oh look.
Torque screws and things
Yeah,
like
oh
that.
look, my little nano SIM card has just fallen out.
Oh dear.
All right, Dave showed us
Yeah.
everything on his desk. Let's move on. Mark also says, why do you think 11 isn't pronounced 1T1?
Wouldn't it be one team?
I think in certain countries it is.
Right. Well, I actually looked this up because I
Right.
was
Is this
curious
something to do with not being metric and stuff like that?
No.
Because it was the
So-
base 12 originally, wasn't
So
it?
apparently 11 comes from, and if I were to try and remember this, but I think it comes from the old, it was like it comes from meaning 10 plus 1 left over. So that's where 11 comes
Isn't it something
from.
to do with elves, no?
I don't know what elves.
Elven.
No, I don't know about that.
That's how
I don't know
tall
where
an
you're
elf is. Is it 11 meters tall? Fucking know.
I don't know what he's on about. But it wouldn't be pronounced 1T1 because, as far as I can remember reading, the T, the TY after a 20 or a 30 is something to do with a multiple of 10. So 11 wouldn't qualify to have 11.
What is it, Latin? Thing is, right, you think, because how does it work with, like, obviously, like, we had old money was 12s and 20 lots of 12, and wasn't it? It was a pound and all that sort of stuff. Fuck knows why. But,
right.
And we've got 12 months in a year. But back in the old days, like, the reason they're named certain things is, like, October is the 10th month, but Oct is 8. So what the fuck happened there?
Right. Julius and Augustus in the Romans, they were so important they wanted months. So we had July and August.
Oh, they were added in, were they?
They were added in.
So that's why December is
right.
the 10th.
Yeah.
Like December deck is 10,
That,
right?
That is the reason why.
Oh, so they shoehorned in a couple of extra ones in there.
Yeah.
But what's January then? Is that
I
something
don't fucking
like,
know. That's
February?
literally.
That's not 2, is it?
That's literally the only fact that I know about the months.
Like March is named after the fucking god of war or something, isn't
it? Possibly, yeah.
I don't know. That's all I know.
Well, why is it only like 7 onwards that they decided to have 7, 8, 9, 10, and then they're not even those numbers?
I don't know. All I know is Julius and Augustus.
So this is not my specialist subject on Mastermind.
No, they were so important. They had months named after them, and all the months were shortened to account.
But it was only 10 months. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there was
pre-Roman.
Pre-Roman. It was a decimal month calendar.
So why did we have decimal back in those days, and then decide to fuck it all off in the I don't know at what point?
Like you said the old money was 12s. The old weight.
And we had
was
guineas and things like that, and that was even weirder.
Whoa. Yeah, but I think you're getting confused. It's like decimals have always been around. Like we've always, counted in tens. I mean, it's
Not everyone has.
no, not
Computers count in twos.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that, right? But it's
Horses
yeah.
count in
See,
threes.
Mark's saying Romans didn't have decimals. That's what they had. Their family numbers, didn't they? They had letters.
Did they? I don't know.
The metric system was like invented in the 1700s.
Base 10 math though. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all fucking weird, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That's
the
my
history
standard
of
answer on Master Mode. I don't know. It's fucking weird, isn't it?
So this all comes back to why isn't 11 pronounced 1-1, and it's just how our language
shit.
evolved. There are, I think in French, like there's I think the 72 is like,
No, it's 80 is the weird number in French.
yeah, it's
So it's like 420s. It's like you could come up with something for 80. You had to say 420s.
Yeah, like
well, every other number's got a proper number, but no.
Yeah. So yeah, there are oddities. And English is a mishmash of like hundreds of different languages that's evolved over hundreds of years. So I don't know.
Just
No
make
one
it
else.
up. Just make it up.
We could just start saying it. Why not?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. Mark might be interested actually to I've been hovering over the buy button. I found a laser for sale locally. Did I tell you
Fucking
that?
laser?
Oh, yeah, for the basement.
Oh my
but
God.
it's just a little bit too pricey. I don't know. Maybe I should lowball it.
It's just a one color laser?
No, it's two. It's got green and red.
Wow. Does that mean you can do pretty much like 50% of colors?
Didn't I talk about this last week? I think I talked about this last week.
I think you said you looked at one, or
yeah,
you were
it's still calling
one.
me. It's still calling me.
Which
actually, no, the fog machine I haven't done yet. No, I don't know about that.
Just get your vape out. Be fine.
Yeah, let's move on to anyway. Thanks everybody for that. Let's move on to what we've been doing, and I'll say why we can move on to what we've been doing because, and I'll go first, is because, like I say, that laser is calling me. That rack-mounted piece of equipment I was talking about last week when we were talking about Dave's speakers was calling me. Anyway, I think I woke up on the Saturday morning and I just sent them an email, lowballed them on it, and they accepted. And I ended up driving an hour down the road or whatever to go pick this piece of equipment up.
What is it? I looked at it. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, so it's a rack-mounted recorder. So it takes a line in, like a signal, like a line signal from my decks or whatever it may be, and records it onto an SD card. And surprisingly,
like lossless format.
I record it MP3, a WAV, whatever you want to set it to, and then you can set all the bit rates on it. It's really cool. It's a really nice piece of kit. I'm super pleased I got it. Like I got it for $100, and I cannot find another example that I could have to my door for less than like about $400. So I got a really good deal on it. The quality's really good. It's like pro grade piece of kit. And it's just got some really, like, it's got all balanced inputs and stuff like that, balanced mic inputs if you want to do recording.
So do you need something to mix the sound before this?
Well, I have all that, right?
Yeah. So I have just like one input, is it?
Yeah, so I needed something to record all my stuff from my DJ setup. So it's almost like completed the setup there, which is great.
So sorry, is there a hard drive included, or does it literally just do the record and then it passes it over to something else?
No, it's got a slot, so I have an SD card in there.
Oh, okay.
So it records it straight to the SD card. So, I set it for MP3, it may be like 128 bit or whatever it might be, something like that, and like it gives me 15 hours of recording off a 12 gig card.
Okay, that's not bad. What's a FLAC do?
Well, I don't. I'm not sure that it does FLAC. WAVs are huge anyway, right? If you do WAV files.
Right.
But the beauty of it is
get
it's
about
got so
74 minutes on 800 megabytes, don't you?
Yeah, which is okay. So if you're going to rip vinyl to it, right? You want to do it in the highest quality possible, and you can do that. I could rip all the records that I've got, which is pretty neat. It's got some really neat features, like you can set it so that it's called dual recording. So you record, and while it records what you're doing, it also records a second copy underneath. at lower decibels in case you screw up your main recording. So it's like automatically records a backup for you.
Okay. That's
Which is pretty neat. Yeah, and plus it's got it's super. It's got so much recording time that every time I switch on my decks now, I can just press record and just muck around because there's so many times I've played on my decks and done cool stuff, and you go, "Oh, I wish I'd recorded that." Right? Or you just start playing some records or tunes or whatever, and then suddenly, like half an hour later, you're in the groove, and you're like, oh, I wish I'd recorded that.
Right.
So I can just get into the habit now. Turn my decks on. Part of my process of switching everything on is to start the recording, and if I use the recording, fine. If I don't, then I can just wipe it.
So if you, I know you said there's loads of recording time on it, but if you accidentally were butting up against the end recording, does it start re-recording over the older stuff first, or does it just run out of room?
It's a good question, Dave. I have no idea.
Just
I'll
got
have
the
to
one
go-
slot.
It's got a rather extensive user manual that I can go back to. So.
That's toilet reading, toilet material.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things I have all the manuals for all the equipment, and so every time you like come up against a question, you sort of dig out the manual and have a read, and so yeah, I'll consult the manual for that one and have an answer for you later.
So have you got a rack? Have you got a rack that is mounted in, or
it just sits on below the amp or whatever
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't. I've got a couple of rack mount pieces, but they just sit there. I don't need to rack them up.
No, not yet until you find a decent rack to.
Yeah, I don't need to. They look fine where they are. But I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, I was on cloud nine on Saturday. I had that fucking brilliant buzz of I'd bought a new piece of kit that I really liked, that I was really excited about, and I'd got it at a killer price. And I don't think there's a better feeling than that. I was absolutely just a huge smile on my face all weekend. Yeah, can't be a good deal. I love it. I love it. So I got that, and I think we should use that as a segue into Dave.
So yeah, I picked up my speakers.
Yes.
That I've been banging on about
This
for a
guy
while now.
who we were getting ready to lynch
Oh,
and to
so
drag his name through the mud.
so it all made sense when I got there. So he was a tradesman. There was a white man. There was a white van in the driveway. I think it was a plumber, and I was like, oh god, no wonder he never gets back to you on text, because that's
He's probably got
what
a million
tradesmen
of the
do.
fucking things.
Yeah, probably. Everyone like, oh, when can you do this? When can you do that? But no, he messaged me on the morning and said it was okay to come up at 1 o'clock, and then about half hour later he says, oh, I've just got to pick up my daughter at 1. Can it be a little bit later? And I was just like, oh mate, this is such a flaky guy. But no, I turned up at 1:30 after 3 hours of driving up the motorway.
Oh,
And
a
spent
drive of faith that was.
Yeah, but I got there. So it's a little bit. It was a really nice house. I'd obviously checked it out on Google Maps and everything, make sure it was a real house and not just a fucking, I don't know, a caravan down at the bottom of a dodgy park or something. He'd obviously had a massive extension put on since Google Maps had taken the photo, so it's a kind of. Went up to it and was like, oh, that's not what it looks like, because he'd had a big side extension and basically doubled the size of his house. But the bottom floor was a dedicated sort of cinema room style thing, and he'd got a Denon X4700X.
Is that one you've been looking at? I can't remember now.
That
There's
was the
so
one I
many
was
numbers
looking
of
at.
letters bad around.
Yeah, but it's about 1,200 or 1,500 quid for
Oof.
this AV receiver. He had Kef. He had the standing ones, the ones that I bought. He had a 5.2.2 setup, so he had 2 Kef subs in each corner
Man.
with the Dolby.
Did you say it was a plumber?
It was
Fuck me, I get my boy to become a
it
plumber.
was probably all the money that they were given over over COVID that they were supposed to pay back, but nobody ever did. But but yeah, so he'd got a massive sofa, leather, like all armrests and place to put your drinks and stuff. It was
That was his
Did
pride
he
and
have a
joy.
popcorn? Did he have a popcorn maker in the corner?
I didn't see a pop. He had a
A
little
popcorn maker? You mean a saucepan and a hob?
No, a lot of people over here, when they do their cinema rooms, they put like this sort of popcorn stand or whatever.
Fair
It's
play.
like a popcorn maker and it's pretty cliche and a bit naff, but
Yeah, probably
That's
tastes
what
like
I do.
shit as well.
It hasn't been cleaned for like
Yeah.
5 years. Old stale butter. No. Just the stuff. It did have a little bathroom just off the side, so just through a door off that room, which was great because I really needed the wee after being on the road for 3 hours.
That's your limit, is it, Dave? About 3 hours.
Yeah, that was my limit to that day. You know what it's like? You're on the motorway. I don't want to
Drinking a
stop. I'm
coffee on
making
the
really
way,
good.
you're like, oh, that was a bad move, wasn't it?
I'm making really good time, and then you get like closer to your destination. You're like, there's literally nowhere to go, and I got out and it's like, I really need a wee, but I'm not going to say anything. And I walked into the room, and I saw the doors slightly open. It's like, oh, is that a toilet? Oh, you don't mind if I just pop? So oh mate, I'm
He
stood
was in
there
there
for
for
like
about 10 minutes.
two,
Like,
I was just two there,
oh.
just peeing into the toilet, going, he's gonna think I'm taking a piss. Um, but no, like he was replacing these very nice Kef Q750s with a pair of Kef LS50s.
right.
He said they were just too big for the room, and he wanted some nice powered bookshelves to balance it out.
Are they the
And that's
ones
the
I
reason why
was
it's
talking about? The
Yes.
yeah,
LS50s. They're like
yeah,
fucking about 1,300 quid or whatever.
yes.
Oof.
This guy's
He's
making
doing all
like
right, isn't he?
yeah, doing all right. So yeah.
Is his name Mario?
His name was Paul. And if you're listening, thank you very much. Because I brought them up. I put them on my. Oh mate, they fit perfect in my boot. I put them in
Yeah,
my
they
car.
look quite snug.
Took a picture. And as we, because he helped me, he put me in and said, actually, that looked quite nice in the car. I said, yeah, I might wire them up. But no, I haven't. I've brought them home. I've put them in the living room. They sit very nicely in a corner away. Haven't set them up. Haven't. It was so tempting to buy an AV receiver.
Of course.
I thought you might be out today buying one.
No,
You should just
no.
go out on Facebook Marketplace, buy a cheap one just to tide you over.
No,
Well,
don't
this
do
is
that. It's basically just taking budget off the real one that you want.
so. I this is where I go into the next thing that I've been doing is that yes, I that if I didn't have okay, I don't have the self restraint of not doing it. The missus had the car on Sunday, but I'd woke up thinking I'm going to go to Richard Sounds and buy one of these things. There's 18 months interest free credit. I'm just going to go and buy
Attaboy.
one.
Yep. Go,
Uh,
go, go.
And then I woke up, and then the missus was out the whole day with the car. And I'm like, damn. Um, but she saved me. And then once that was it, then once that was over, that was it. I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to buy a new one. But I have been looking at auction sites,
Oh.
as in auctions around Northamptonshire and other counties around me that are physical auction places where there's obviously repossessions and house clearance stuff. And there's a load of shit. There's a load of real shit and really depressing. Like, oh, dude, like this person's just been collecting train shit for the last 50 years, and it's all here, and it's all absolutely worth nothing, and it's really sad. But sometimes you get some really good stuff. I've put a few bids on. Haven't won anything yet. But I'm just like lowballing it. But I'm just enjoying actually going around and either looking online at some of these auction sites, or like I've been to a couple, one in Kettering and one in Daventry. They just had I can't remember what they call it, but it's a look round day, and then you place your bids and you see how you do. There was one Sony AV receiver that was it's like a couple of years old. Didn't do 4K. It was 1080p, but it was like 7.2 channels, 100 watts per channel.
Oof.
That would have driven something. It would have driven the speakers if I wanted to. But I think I was like the next bid in line. So they did say you haven't won it, but if the people who have won it don't pay or don't want it, you'll be next in line. But I didn't hear anything back. But I actually just liked wandering around looking at stuff. And it's kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I don't need to spend 1,400 quid
Mhm.
on a receiver when you could probably get one for 50, 60 quid, and at some of these really cheap auction places, because like
You
people,
can make concessions on your purchases for this that will save you a lot of money.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you've already done that with the speakers. I mean, you've got yourself a cracking set of speakers for a good price.
mm,
Why not? Why go to
yeah,
pay
So when you
full
picked
pelt
up the
for some
speakers,
mm.
did you get to hear them before you
Yeah.
decided?
No,
Yeah,
he had them all set up. Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
how
went
nice?
in and I went for my 2 or 3 minute piss. Um, He set them up. He set them to nearly full blast, just those, because I did say I don't, just set them up. I checked the boxes. I made sure that there was no rattling. I checked that all the speakers were working and they were producing good sound, um, on both sides. And I sat in the middle and basically just made sure that like there was an even sound between the two, and there was a decent sound picture being displayed by him. And yeah, it was just like he was absolutely cool with it. And then yeah, just gave him the cash and stuck him in the
Nice.
boot. Um, so yeah, that's the thing about buying electronics at auctions though, is that you can't test the shit.
Yes, sold as
Um,
seen kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. The thing with buying sort of the audio stuff is what I found, and I've bought a lot of stuff from people now secondhand, and not been burned. Really, I don't think I've been burned at all. You usually find it's people who treat it as a hobby and are simply flipping old equipment, right? You
but
constant. I've seen a guy today. He's like selling 3 receivers, right? He's just like, I've got to get rid of some receivers, and
because he
I've got
wants to buy something else with the money that is
well, because his probably and because his better
Just
half is
taking
sitting
up
there going,
space.
it's time. Yeah, I mean, I've got like I say, speakers that are sitting here doing nothing. I've got 3 turntables. I have to start getting rid of some stuff. If I don't, but it's hard.
Mm,
You don't want to because you just because you're it's a hobby, right? And you
yeah,
like the stuff that you've got. So,
yeah. So
but I couldn't
um,
afford the hobby if I was buying stuff full
no,
pop.
no. So
Um,
so that's it. What I'm gonna do is I'm looking at just getting a decent thing just to tide me over at the moment. If I do want to upgrade, then I know the upgrade path that I will want to do. But why not just sort of start off getting like a setup that I'm happy with, because I need some surround speakers. I need a center speaker. I probably won't get the Sonos, um, not the Sonos, the Dolby Atmos
you don't want that
uh,
crap.
speakers. But no, I'll just get a decent 5.1 to start with. Get a receiver that can run everything. And then if I need to update my receiver or get some better, I can do it modularly instead of like just smashing it out all in one go.
That's the
So
whole
yeah,
point, isn't it? Really, of separates. Yes.
And that's half the fun too, right?
yeah, yeah, that's it. And I am enjoying it. I'm loving it. Like,
Welcome to
the,
the rabbit hole.
there is some proper old, like literally 1920s, 1930s stuff that you see in some of these um some of these auction sites, and it's not even good old stuff. It's like just proper shit. It's like
Oh yeah, there's always
I-
been crap around. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
it's
know
like
if it's crap.
yeah,
I just remember my grandparents. They had like a sideboard that was a music system,
Right.
It was fucking like this massive fucking sideboard thing. It was like, it had a huge radio dial across it. Like the two, like what you'd normally where you'd have cupboards were fucking great big speakers.
Yeah, they were a big thing. Yeah, you
Yeah,
still
yeah.
get them here. I saw somebody selling one not long ago, and they'd redone it, right? So they'd
Mm.
taken out the whatever oldie crap speakers were in
Right.
there, and they'd stuck a 1210, an SL 1210
Right.
turntable right up in the top there and made it fit somehow. It's like, yeah, now we're talking. This is good. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I like creative stuff like that. Is that, you know, repurposing like items like that, and I'd really like to get into doing things like that. Is like, yeah, create a, you know, a TV stand, but like not just have it as a separate like bit that you put all your stuff and have separate. But yeah, as you say, like having a sideboard that's just all integrated. Have a big like dial across the front, or even if it's just on and off and the volume button, that would be pretty cool as well. But yeah, it's I didn't really think about anything like that until you start going around and looking at some of this old stuff that actually looks pretty cool. Because I think a lot of that stuff is coming back into fashion, like the 40s and 50s stuff.
What you need to do, Dave, go have a look at old Macintosh amplifiers. That's what you need to drive those
Right.
speakers.
With fucking valves and shit.
Oh yeah,
Get some valves on the display. The
yeah,
glow.
Macintosh stuff. That's the holy grail to get in your system.
And yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, well, just to finish off the other thing I didn't tell you was, do you know where I bought that piece of equipment from? My recorder.
Go on.
I bought it from a church. I had to
Okay.
meet a guy who opened the church and went and got it for me. So.
What was the church had a
So
recorder?
here's the interesting
Did
thing
they
is,
record their sermons?
Well, I looked up the blurb for this stuff. If you go on the Tascam site or whatever, I think it lists like the markets that they tried to sell it to as
Right.
offices, I think function halls or something like that,
Right.
and churches. Churches were specifically listed as one of their sort of target markets for it. So
maybe there was a market for the sermons
to record
being
the sermon every week, right? Record the sermon every week and then pop it out to the people.
Stick it out on a podcast.
Yeah.
Stick it out or to the people who couldn't make it that week.
Yeah.
Right? Makes sense.
God, could you imagine? Like you got out of church, like for 1 week.
This is why he's not going. This is why he's not going up there. Go on.
You get out
Add
of
more
church.
fuel to the fire, Dave.
Oh, I can't go. I feel really ill. I definitely had some bad beer last night. It was definitely the can of Stella that I had that was definitely a bit dodgy. Not the other 5 cans that polished
just
it
one
off.
of the cans.
I'll save everybody by not being ill in church. Oh, look what I brought back! It's a fucking tape of the sermon. Oh yeah, I'll just pop it on for you while you're ill in the bedroom. You're stuck with a fucking recording of the sermon being played, and you can't get out of it because the missus can hear you, like the stereo in the background.
Dave, Dave's got this one all figured out. He sounds like you're speaking from experience.
It's like his torture.
It's like you're just like pressing the pillows against your back. I can't get out of it. Yeah, no, not for me.
Yeah. So anyway, but obviously they didn't need it anymore, so their loss is my gain.
Too many suicides.
All right. The other thing I had on my list was I finished Slow Horses season 2, which I forgot to mention last week.
I haven't started watching that yet. Is it worth it?
Yeah, we chomped it in 2 nights.
Oh,
that's good.
Okay.
It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah. So well, if you're gonna watch it, Dave, we'll talk about it again next time it comes
I'm
around.
super looking. There's another series on the way, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm assuming it'll be out at a similar time.
Yeah, there's no reason they can't keep knocking these out as quick as they can make them, right? So yeah, that was great. We really enjoyed that. So Neil.
Well, remember I said I was a bit ill last Friday.
You did say you were.
Turns out it's fucking COVID, wasn't it? Like, so
is that the third time?
I think it's only the second time. I can't remember, but I ended up having the week off work.
Oh
no!
Oh,
so I was already booked off one night at work this week. I was supposed to go to hospital But now I couldn't go to the fucking hospital to have my eyes checked again. So now I've got to wait
You
till
didn't book
May.
it off as holiday, did you?
I booked one night as holiday previously.
That's not holiday.
No. I had a night booked off as holiday.
Right.
And then I ended up being sick.
Right.
But
that is not holiday. You can have that day back.
I can, but it's got to be taken by the end of March, which is not going to happen. So
you didn't do that one thing where you just phone up and you just go, I need to cancel my holiday. And then 5 minutes later, you phone and go, I've got COVID.
No. In UK law, if you are sick on your holiday,
yeah, you get to take it again.
Not holiday.
Oh, God. You guys have got it so cushy over there. It's
But-
unreal.
Oh,
well, we don't have enough holiday. Oh, we only get 8 weeks.
I've only got 32 days of holiday.
Yeah,
this
God
year.
forbid. I have to maybe just have a bit of a cough while I'm in.
And bank holidays.
You're just as bad up there, aren't you?
No.
It's not as bad
we're
as
the
it is
American
in the US.
model, mate. We're as bad as the US here.
Are you?
Yeah. 60 hours a week.
Oh, I ain't fucking moving there then. I'll just put up with everything else being
You couldn't
completely
handle
shit.
it, mate. You'd be like that. Day off.
So I get sick pay from day one as well because I've been there so long. So when I phoned up to say, it says on the website, the Tesco website, if you've got COVID, don't come to work. I was like, okay. So I phoned up and it says on the website I was not supposed to come to work. And he was like, well, you can come to work. I was like, but it says on our website that I'm not supposed to come to work. He was like, no, but you can if you need the money and that you can come to work. I was like, what the fuck? It was updated on the 17th of February.
Mean?
It says I should not come to work. But anyway, whatever.
Oh, it's funny that a manager going against what the corporate HR is saying. Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, well, he was like, I said, well, the money's not a problem because I get paid day one sick, so it's not a problem for me. I won't be coming in. But
so is he protecting his cost center then?
No, because he's only like a fucking. He's not. Technically, he's not a manager. He's just he's been signed off as a manager. He hasn't actually got a position yet.
Okay.
But anyway, whatever. But it's not been that bad this time. Been quite lucky. So I don't know if it's all the vaccines or whether the strain that's going around is not as strong or whatever.
It's not the vaccine, mate. It's got nothing to do with it.
Well, maybe it is. But
it's probably just you drank more vitamin C.
Yeah. I had a bit of a cough on the Friday. And on the Saturday night and Sunday morning, so I was getting the whole shivers and shakes and thinking. And then on the Sunday, I started to feel pretty shit. I was like, well, I do feel quite rough. I don't fancy going to work tonight. And then I did a test and it was like, bang, instant fucking lied on the tee. I was like, oh, fuck. But yeah, now it's only 5 days, whatever. So from midnight Tuesday or whatever, I was allowed out. So I haven't done another tests, but I feel fine. Ish, pretty much. So
I'm impressed by your vigilance and not spreading it around.
Yeah. You look rough as a dog, though. Hey?
Well,
you look awful.
I have not slept. That is the one thing. I have had a really shit week of not sleeping, so I am looking a bit tired.
That's because you're playing games.
I'm just kidding. You look all right.
Yeah, I do feel like
you look as brilliant as ever, mate.
Yes, indeed. That's the light that's shining on my face from above. Anyway, enough about that bollocks. I've been listening to a load of podcasts. I said about the Totally Football show before, which I think is my favourite podcast at the moment of all podcasts I listen to. It's James Richardson. He's on it all the time, pretty much. He's on holiday at the minute, but and then they have various journalists on from The Athletic, and then they have they're all the journalists from there. Then they have a European show which is really good, where they have James Horncastle, who's like the Italian expert, and then they have Julien Laurent, who's the French expert, and then they have Rafa Honigstein, the German expert, and Alvaro Romeo, who's the Spanish guy. And they have I just love listening to them. They all fucking crack me up, all the banter and all the massive dad jokes that are going on all the time and all the puns that James Richardson comes out with. It's fucking...
Well, James Richardson, and I've listened to this show a few times. Whenever I feel like I need a football fix, I listen to it, or if there's something really interesting that I want to hear about. And I listened to he did a podcast before this. I can't even remember what it was.
I don't know that.
But I mean, I've listened to him hundreds of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours. Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of hours. And when he was on Football Italia,
Yeah.
he was great, a great presenter on that. But it's the podcasts. He gets such a good rapport going with all the guys that he has on his podcast. He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, it's almost like he's a professional. So, but yeah. So anyway, related to that, I've been looking at subbing to the Athletic.
It was Guardian Football Weekly.
Yeah, it was in. I had a quick chat with online with Christian. He said he used to read all of his stuff in the Guardian and listen to them then. But they had a deal on subbing, so it's normally £8 a month to sub to the Athletic.
Oh, he loves a monthly payment, doesn't he?
They were offering there was a thing £1.99 a month. I was like, oh, that's quite cheap, isn't it? It's quite cheap. It's £2 a month. It's like a fucking it's less than a cost of coffee. Not that I drink cost of coffee these days, but it's not a lot of money to support what they're doing, because it's independent journalism and all that shit. And then they got taken over by the New York Times. I noticed a few weeks ago. It's been coming up on the adverts. And I was like, oh. And then I looked at New York Times, and they were doing a deal that was only £25 for an entire year of New York Times sub, which included the Athletic and Wirecutter and obviously New York Times and a load of food recipes. I was like,
does it include the New York Times crossword? Because it
had all the games and stuff on there as well. So I assume
that would
the crossword
interest me.
Yeah. It has, because they took over Wordle and stuff like that. They've got loads of word games and stuff. I don't know technically if the crossword is on there, but every time I try to sub to, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's only like £25 for a year, and then it goes to like whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. But every time I try to do the New York Times one, it says, no, we've blocked you from the New York Times because we suspect you are a robot. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was on like loads of different, all my browsers on my phone, on my computer, and it was just like, nope. I was like, fuck you then. I ended up, next day on Twitter, they were offering the Athletic for £1 a month. And I was like, fuck it, I'm doing that then. I just did it for £1 a month and it worked straight away. So I'm now an Athletic sub. And I can't deal with the amount of content that they're pushing out just on the Athletic. So it's fucking stuff constantly, loads of articles to read, and all of their podcasts are now ad-free via the app. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I've just started listening to loads more podcasts, including more football podcasts. The Race, I don't know if you heard of The Race people that's on they're on the Athletic now, as their podcasts are, and all of their stories and journalism is. They do all like Formula One and motorsport stuff like that. So I've been listening to a load of their stuff. And yeah, there's one called, I don't know what it stands for, the TIFO podcast, which is all like, it's a bit jokey and sweary on the Athletic. It's quite good as well. Yeah, so I like all of their stuff so far. They've got loads of good stuff. And for £1 a month, I was like, I can't really fucking argue with that.
I've got it here. I brought it out. It says subscribe for $1. I guess that's an American dollar, though.
I don't know. But yeah, is that for 12 months?
I can't see. I'm not going to click it. Sorry, my dog's causing me problems here. Go on again now. What are you staying in?
He's misbehaving. He's not moving.
No, he's been a good boy. King.
So anyway, I think the deal's on still. If you're into sports, it's a good place to get loads of fucking. You can tailor your experience to like which teams you want to follow in leagues and stuff. It's quite good.
After your 12 months, does it bump up?
Yeah, so I won't be doing it then.
So don't forget to cancel. You know he's going to forget. Have you set a reminder in your calendar?
Not yet, because it is 12 months away. So
yeah, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
This is, you set it now, Neil.
They might get 1 month for £8. You never know. But I'm sure they'll tell me when it's running out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like a mobile phone contract where they just try and keep you locked in forever, paying that £80 a month.
No, of course it isn't.
For your 5-year-old phone.
Yeah, they're going to be right on there to tell you, remind you to cancel. All right, okay. Anything else?
Not so far.
Okay, let's move on to what we've been playing then.
Right. Who's going
Before
first?
we do that, can we have a quick break?
Oh yeah, sorry. We're just going to have 2 seconds for A break.
Bio
We're
break.
back in
A
second.
refresher break.
Bio break.
Yeah. Pardon me now.
Okay, thank you for bearing with us. All right, let's get Neil going first today, shall we?
Okay. Played a few games this week. One game I've not played very much of, I'm going to quickly talk about, was a freebie on Epic this week called Chess Ultra. You'll never guess what this game's about. It's a game of chess.
Because I grabbed it as well.
Did you? Have you not played it yet, though?
No.
Well, guess what? You play chess. I've played against a computer. I haven't checked. I'm assuming there's a multiplayer mode, so I didn't really look too bad. You can play. Oh, they're playing on screen. They're playing like, I thought it was checkers, as they call it in the States, drafts or whatever. But it's actually just chess with disc pieces. So there's loads of different options for like what you want it to look like. Excuse me, and it just plays chess. And I've discovered that I'm not very good at fucking chess. Because I got my ass kicked in about 5 moves earlier. I was like, fucking, I can't remember how to play chess. I don't know how to do any moves. All of the whatever openings or whatever, I don't know any of that shit. And yeah, so I started on normal and I was just getting properly battered. I was like, oh, but you can rewind a few moves to see if you can rescue things. And I was just like, no, it's already too far
There's no
gone.
rescue in that.
No. So I knocked it down to amateur, and then I lost an even less moves, I think, than the first time I played. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking hard. So yeah, the computer really knows how to play chess. It's like you give it a set of rules, and it can just fucking work out what to do.
It's like it can make calculations better than you.
Yeah, indeed. Like God knows how many millions of times per
hundreds
fucking
and
second.
thousands of permutations.
Yeah, so it's fucking hard so far. But yeah, I haven't really played chess since I was very small. And obviously, then I wasn't very good at chess. I'm guessing. It looks quite nice, and it plays chess. I don't know what else to tell you, but I'll be interested in playing some multiplayer and seeing if I am just totally shit.
I'll get it downloaded. We'll have a game. We'll have a big match.
A big chess night.
I've played chess since I was a kid, and I don't think I'm any good. I find it so intimidating, chess. I don't know what it is. I just hate it. I hate it, and I think it's fantastic at the same time.
Well, it's a game that stood the test of time. That's for sure.
Takes a minute to learn, but a lifetime to master.
Indeed, unless you're a grandmaster at the age of 20.
Yeah, chess does not take a minute to learn. That's a load of old bollocks.
Yeah, it's not drafts or checkers.
So what's the animations and stuff like on it?
It's just like, there's no hands or anything like that. You click on, like, you hover over your piece and it will show you where it can move to, and things like that. So and then you just click on the square that you want it to go.
I thought I saw in the trailer there were like pieces falling over with flames coming out of their eyes.
Oh, I haven't seen that. There's different sets with maybe there's different animations on some of the sets that you can use, and maybe there's DLCs. I guess maybe you can buy cosmetics
to entice me in.
Yeah, but it wasn't like fucking loads of. Wasn't like watching that stupid game in Star Wars where there's animated battles and stuff like that. Literally, you just play chess, and like a piece will disappear, like move off the board, hover off the board via an invisible hand when it gets taken and things like that. But it looks alright, and it plays chess, and the computer's hard. It's definitely like it's no fucking pushover. That's for sure. So what else have I played? I played loads of Destiny 2 this week.
Oh, jeez.
Just to surprise you. So I've got a few things on my list for Destiny 2 this week.
Oh my god, he's got a Destiny list.
Fucking list. Piece of paper with my notes on.
I need you to support me here.
This is Fraser. It's your fault. I fucking started writing notes.
Oh my god, have you used a pen and paper?
A fucking piece of
paper
and a pen. No, I didn't print it off. I didn't fucking write it on a computer and then print it off. I fucking wrote it down.
Look, I've got my notebook here. What are you talking about?
I've just got a piece of paper that I throw in the bin at the end of it.
All right.
Anyway, so this week in Destiny 2, last weekend particularly, was Trials of Osiris, as we have most weekends. and I played a load of it, and Gary joined me, Defo, for some games as well. And I don't know, Saturday, I think it was I was playing, I was having quite good fun. They've changed the matchmaking, which is what I want to talk about, basically. Like in the last seasons gone by and years gone by, you've needed a team of 3 people to go into Trials of Osiris. Because it's a 3v3 game. It's a round-based game and you have to win 5 rounds. Sometimes they mix it up, but generally the idea is it's called elimination. Like you all have 1 life. You get killed. You can still be rezzed by your team after about, it's about 8 seconds. They give you as you're dead for 8 seconds, and then your teammates can revive you. And if you get revived, then you can, try and beat the other team. Or you might have some sort of Destiny multiplayer god on your team who can do a 1v3 and kill the other team. That doesn't happen when I'm playing. Certainly if it's not me that's doing that, that's for sure. And this, what they've done now is made it a bit more like the normal PvP mode, where you can solo queue and you will then be match made with other solos and duos to make up a team of 3. You shouldn't get matched with teams of 3. They've done lots of behind the scenes stuff to try and help the matchmaking and get more people playing, because it is one of the more elite or exclusive areas of Destiny that people are afraid to play, probably, or intimidated to play, because it's very, very hard when you play it, sometimes, most of the time. But for Saturday, I was having quite a lot of fun. I was just like, this is just like normal Crucible. I'm getting match made with people who were like, I'm having a few games where we're doing okay, and other games where we get crushed. It's similar to normal Crucible. And then I played on, I think it was Sunday night, when I was supposed to be at work because I was ill. And that was not the same experience. I was just getting absolutely destroyed. Whether I was actually too ill to play, I don't know. But yeah, it was a very different experience on the Sunday night. And I was just losing game after game after game after game after game. And that's a bit depressing.
Yeah,
so
it's not great when that happens.
But yeah, I still like Destiny. So then at the reset on Tuesday evening, UK time, Trials of Osiris goes away, and this week it's called Iron Banner time, and they've got a new PvP event going for the week, 7 days, called Iron Banner, and that's a 6v6. Much less stress involved in this. It's just normal multiplayer where you die, live, die, repeat. Basically, you get killed, you come back. There's no, and you got to get the whole idea is to score 150 points as a team of 6 to win, or if whoever's got the most points when the game runs out after like 10 minutes or whatever. Generally, it gets to the end. It gets to 150 points and someone wins. You have to capture points. There's 3 points on the map, A, B, and C, and if you have 2 points versus 1, then you score more points for a kill. And if you have all 3, if you manage to capture all 3 points, which is sometimes in these game modes in other games, is not a thing you might want to do because it forces spawns to reverse and flip-flop and all that shit. There is actually a benefit to getting 3 capture points because it locks out the other team from capturing any points for about a minute. So you are they're called, I can't remember, the hunt is on or something like that they say, and you've basically got like 30 seconds or whatever where the enemy team can't capture any points, so any kills you get during that you're getting like 3 points for, sort of thing. So there is a point to like capturing the extra points, and that has been quite a lot of fun. So that to play that game mode after getting absolutely wrecked for a whole day at the weekend. There was a big weekly story event this week. They have, like, as long as there's the main campaign that came out, the Lightfall campaign, and then they have these seasons. And each week that goes by in the season, they have a new little story beat. It's not particularly long. If you play the cutscenes, it's probably about fucking 5 minutes max. And there's usually like you play the seasonal event a bit to progress the story that's going on alongside the main campaign. And one of the characters that's been in the game since I think Destiny 1 came out died in this week's campaign.
Okay.
And
good.
one of the other characters in the game is played by Lance Reddick, who obviously passed away last week. So there's been all sorts of tributes to him in the game and stuff like that over the last few days. And it was a bit weird because, like, he's obviously we recorded loads of voice lines and stuff for the game, and now he's no longer with us. So there's all this story that's going to play out with him in, and he's not here anymore. And apparently, the night before he died, he was playing Destiny 2. He was a player of the game as well as in the game. So it's all pretty sad, that whole business. And
he was young. He was only 60.
Well, yeah, only 60. It was a bit of a shock, that's for sure, when it happened.
That's right, people. I said 60 was young.
Yeah, that's because you're
Don't
near
judge
60.
me.
Well, for someone, I mean, he looked in good shape. Let's not be about it. He looked for a 60. He doesn't look 60. We didn't. He looked like he was in fighting fit and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know what happened exactly, but yeah, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. Pretty talented man. Not just famous for obviously being Commander Zavala in Destiny. He's been all sorts of stuff in like proper films and stuff. But yeah, and then he had a moment in the story where he was upset about someone else dying, which was just a little bit weird. Obviously, right. Bearing in mind what had happened like in the last week. And obviously there's going to be more story that's going to play out with him that they've all sorted out already. So yeah, that's going to be all very odd for a little while to come, I should think. So they're not afraid of, doing stuff in the game. Like with characters that have been around long. There's been bigger characters in the past that have been killed off, for sure. And this was sort of a bit part character, really. But yeah, still, they're doing stuff, making it interesting. And what else have we done? Oh, me and Gary, we joined up for I did speak
Gary
about this. All right. Gary and I joined up for a quest that I mentioned last week's show called Vexcalibur, where there's like these weapons called glaives, and there was this special glaive that you could unlock. So we did what we needed to do to unlock a mission, and then we went to do the mission, and it took us 90 minutes to do this mission. It was pretty hard. Like we got right to the end, and then we died. And it's one of those where if you both die, you have to start you have to go back to like a previous spawn point. And it's like, oh, how far is it going to kick us back? And it kicked us back further than we both wanted it to. But actually, what happened was, because we played through a bit and we understood the mechanics of what we had to do, we actually blitzed through. The thing that took us probably 20 minutes before literally took us about 5 minutes in the second time around. And then, yeah, we just had to finish the boss off, and we were a bit more smart. But yeah, it was a cool mission. You're little, like, sort of running around a maze, trying to find the right way, killing an odd enemy here or there. But largely, it's more about the fucking trying to find the right route. And then there was interspersed with bits where there was just fucking tons and tons of enemies bombarding you, and you had a little puzzle to solve at the same time. And it was really, really cool. I thought it's like one of those things. It's like a mini raid, like where there's like all this puzzle stuff that you need to solve at the same time as trying to stay alive, where fucking just millions of fucking enemies come at you, and it's just one of them things. Like, just really cool to get on and do that. And then the last thing I did this morning, when I decided, after trying to go to sleep for about 3 hours and not actually sleeping, I was like, fuck this, I'm going to play some Destiny. And there's been a quest that's been sitting in my inventory for about fucking 4 years. I have not got past this one point in this quest, and I was like, I'm going to fucking do that quest today. Because when it first came out, it was part of the Forsaken expansion, so it's literally about fucking 3 or 4 years ago that it came out.
Yeah, that's not there. Yeah,
no, and it's been sitting there all this time. And this one got to the one point, and it was like, you have to go and do the corrupted mission, You can do it as a team. I was like, I kind of want to do it on my own. I know you can do it on your own, so I want to fucking do it. And I know it's hard, but I'm going to fucking do it. It took me 82 minutes this morning to finish that on my own, but I fucking did it.
Well,
and there was I tried it over the last couple of days. So it was 82 minutes today, and I definitely played it for probably about 3/4 of an hour to an hour the day before. And there was one point I got to, and I just kept dying and dying, and I was like, for fuck's sake, just fucking going, losing my shit. I was like, no, that's it. I'm going to fucking walk away and come back to it. And then I watched a video, and I was like, right, okay, I'm not got all of the stuff that they've got, and I'm not going to do it quite the same way. But there was a few tips in there. I was like, right, I definitely need to use that piece of information that they've given me in that video to make sure that I can do it. And like I say, took quite a while, but I did fucking do it. And I'm pretty happy about that. And I've still got about 2 more steps on that quest to do, but they look like a piece of piss in comparison to what I've just done. So it's just got to place a load of Gambit, and that'll be fine. And that's Destiny 2 this week. Still continues to be fucking tons of stuff to do.
No end to it, is there?
It's like, well, there is a point where you will have done everything. If you're, or there is a point that you can get to where you've literally done everything there is to do.
Right.
But then you can just carry on playing. So, I have not got to the point where I've ever done everything in the game. So, and then they keep adding more stuff. That's Destiny. Right then. Do you want me to carry on? I keep moving around my screen because I've got the NVIDIA.
Yeah, have you got some sort of tracking
it's
thing?
Doing some weird thing. I'm trying not to move too much, but it keeps moving me around the screen. It's quite off-putting.
So you got some magical hovering chair or something.
Yeah. So this week I booted my PS5 back up. And I thought I'm going to finish a game that I've been playing for a while. And that game is Spider-Man Miles Morales. I never finished the first game, despite it being very good. I don't know, I just kind of... It's one of those things, it's a bit like a Ubisoft thing, where there's so much stuff to do that I get distracted and side-quested out and end up not getting it all done.
Burning yourself
out on all of the side stuff and not finishing the main story.
Oh, yes.
So Miles Morales' story is a lot shorter than the main Spider-Man game. And, I don't know. Most people must know who Miles Morales is. He's fucking the next Spider-Man, basically. He's Spider-Man 2. Or he's also a Spider-Man. Peter Parker obviously is the most famous one, but Miles Morales becomes Spider-Man. I can't remember what happens, but he's got different powers than Peter Parker or Spider-Man. And some of those powers
can go invisible, can he?
Yeah, he can go invisible, and he's got this venom power where he gets it's like supercharged up and does fucking big electricity damage and stuff like that. It looks fucking awesome. It's ray traced out the nuts and all that stuff. It looks incredible, plays great, and I think it's just the right length for one of these kind of games for me. It's not super long. The story, I was a bit halfway through, I was like, this is a fucking... It's like cheap, because he's a lot younger than Peter Parker. He's like a 17-year-old.
Yes.
So I was a bit like, teenage angst and all that shit. Can't really be bothered with all that bollocks. But by the end of it, it fucking got me. It got me in the feels right at the end. I was like, that was good. The ending was really good. The last boss fight was pretty cool. And yeah, I didn't unlock all of the stuff. There's loads of stuff I could go back and do again in New Game Plus. I don't think I will, to be honest. But yeah, really fucking good. No surprise there. It's just... I mean, Batman was the previous good superhero game, I guess, wasn't it? When Arkham Asylum came out, everyone was like, that's amazing. It's really like being Batman. This feels like being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they've just absolutely nailed that, everything about it. It feels great, looks great. And the story, like I say, at times I was a bit like, ugh. But by the end I was like, yeah, that was really fucking cool. So, a big recommend. It's on sale on Steam. 30% off or whatever. as is the original. But yeah, the original was just a bit too. I mean, I've only got PS4 version of the original. This is the PS5 version. It looks fucking bonkers good. So yeah, big recommend if you like that sort of shit.
Yeah, I could be tempted by that. I need a good adventure game.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, for me, Morales didn't outstay its welcome. Whereas the original was like, this is a long game. It's too much to do. The map's full of fucking icons.
Yeah, that's what makes it sound appealing.
Spider-Man 2 apparently out later this year.
You can't have too much length. Trust me.
Apparently so. And then I played the game that I was playing last week as well, Resident Evil 2. I haven't played loads. This is another game I decided to play when I couldn't fucking sleep this morning, I think. Oh, it's good. It's fucking good.
Good.
Yeah. I've been running around that police station for quite a while. Done, I think. Well, I don't know if you get to go back. Can you spoil it for me? I've left the police station, let's put it that way. I solved the big puzzle to leave the police station. And I went down the thing thinking, oh, that's right, I'll just come back and do that other shit that I haven't done. And then I was like, I don't know if I can go back to the police station now. Because there's a big fucking gun in the weapons locker, like, that I didn't get. And I don't know if I could get it if I'd have spent longer walking around the police station. But there's like the big Magnum fucking revolver. Not a revolver, like a big fucking pistol. That's like twice as big as your shitty starting pistol. And I was like, oh, I want that gun. I could see it there in the cupboard and go, oh, I want that.
Well, it's Occam's razor, isn't it? They're not going to show it to you if you can't have it.
So I'm like, oh, do I get it later though? That's what I want to know. Do I have to come back and get it?
Probably. I don't know. I can't remember.
I got the shotgun.
Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Just let me know. Am I going to be going back to the police station is all I want to know. Because I found some maps and it unlocked. There was a whole load of stuff in the police station that I hadn't been to. And I was like, I don't need to go there because I can just go. Like, I've got the stuff I need to go through the bottom. So I did it. And obviously,
yeah, I think you haven't mentioned one thing which I keep expecting you to mention. You haven't mentioned it yet.
The liquor.
So, no.
Killed a liquor.
Keep playing. Just keep playing.
And I killed the guy. Like, you drop down.
You're not done with the police station.
Right. Okay. You drop down underneath the police station, which is supposed to be the way out of the police station. And there's a fucked up dude down there. Let's put it this way, which is quite obvious what you need to do to hurt him. Is this game just like? Does it just work it out so that you have to keep doing damage until you get to a certain point of ammo, and then that's it? You've basically killed them. So it leaves you with a little tiny bit of ammo, or is it like literally it takes 10 shots in the thing to do it, or is it like
it just so happens you only ever have 11 bullets,
all of your fucking ammo left, and it's just going to leave you with a little bit left, and that's when they're going to die,
doesn't it?
And you're like, I've used a lot of fucking ammo there.
I know every time you miss a shot, you're like, oh no,
yeah,
I can't afford that.
First time I found a message about the liquor. Everyone knows what a liquor is, don't they? They're fucking fucked up things. But the first time you played Resident Evil, were they in Resident Evil 1? Well, they must have been anyway. But they're like the things with no skin and the brains exposed and everything. And it's like, oh, hideous. And they've got giant tongues. And yeah. I encountered one, and I'd already seen the things like, if you're really quiet, you can just walk past it. I was like, all right. So I encountered it, went into the room near it, came back out, and it had moved. I was like, where's he gone? So I went down the corridor a bit, and he was like literally on the fucking wall around the corner. And I was like, oh, okay, don't move. Be really fucking quiet. And he got down off the wall, and I was like, just don't move. And he went, because they're blind, they can't see, but they can hear. And he crept like straight towards me. I was like, am I going to get away with this? And he just went, fucking like hacked me down. I was like, fuck. It's fucking so good. It's just so good. So yeah, that's my game for the next week or so. Is playing more Resident Evil 2.
Keep at it. I know. I want to hear more the further you get because there's some great bits.
Yeah. So I know Mr. X is coming. But
okay.
I know about Mr. X.
That's right. You haven't mentioned him at all. So I was like, well, if he hasn't mentioned him, well, I'm not going to say anything. But
no, I know he's coming. And I was like, that wasn't Mr. X. That was just some fucked up dude with an eye
Yeah,
on his
you'll
shoulder.
know when you meet. Yeah, you know when you meet Mr. X. There's no mistaking him.
Yeah. So, fucking the knife though. That's one thing that pisses me off. It's like, why is my knife degrade? Why do they make me keep need to find more knives? It's like I'm running out of bullets, which is stressful enough.
Yeah, nobody
And
wants that, did they?
then I fucking lost my knife. One, I was like stabbed this fucking zombie, and it was like went to pick it up. It's like, nope, your knife's gone. I was like, what? So that's quite annoying. But such is life. I have to go and find. I know where there is a knife. It's in the weapons locker, which I didn't have the spare key for to get that one.
My dog stinks. That is awful. Oh man, it's been like that all day. Brutal.
Nice. There'll be more Resident Evil 2 next week. I don't know if I'll have finished it though.
No, I don't doubt it. Okay, all right then. Let's crack on. Dave, do you want to go next, and then I'll wrap up?
Yeah, just a quick one for me. I've started playing Dyson Sphere program. Dyson Sphere project.
Project.
I don't know. Let's go back. Yes. Let's look at previous shows and see what you called it back when.
It's definitely program.
I think this is about your third time diving in, isn't it?
Yes. The last time I played it was 2 years ago, actually, in 2021. Wow. Because I looked at it when my last save. I know I got pretty far, but the save game was incompatible with the latest version because
oh no, was it early access when you played it last?
It still is early access.
Oh wow.
So I had to start a new game.
Oh.
And so I'm just watching Fraser.
He's wagging his tail. He knows exactly what's what. Dude, how could you? It stinks.
Yeah, this game's well, it's a factory game. I don't need to explain how little self-control I do have when I play factory games, but it's very good, and it's taken all my time.
Have you done any 3 a.m. jobbies on it?
I've done 2 4 a.m.
I knew you had, because I've been on late, and I'm like, and I've just caught the corner of my eye. I've just been like,
I'm going to bed. It's like 8 or 9 o'clock for me. God, it must be.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. There's been some. Even though it's not summer, that it's been getting light in the morning, and I'm like, I should be working soon.
Yeah, that's not good.
So you hear the birds. The birds tweeting is the first sign. Usually, it's like,
hey, that's not good.
What's funny is I do have on my phone an alarm set, just a silent alarm, just to vibrate, just to say 15 minutes before 12 o'clock. Think about going to bed. Wrap your shit up. Have something to eat maybe. Get a drink.
Don't have a coffee now. Definitely don't have a coffee now.
Don't have a coffee. Do your teeth, and then go to bed. Sometimes, 12:30, 1. I end up. My alarm went off Tuesday, Wednesday. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just finish this one thing. Looked at the clock, 1 o'clock. Oh shit. Okay, right. I'll just finish doing this one bit. I just got to get this done, then I can go. Looked at the clock, 3 o'clock. I was like, oh shit, I really need to save and shut this game down. Saved. I was like, hang on, I'll just do 4:30.
Oh my god, Dave, what is wrong with you? Do you want me to call you? Because I've noticed, one of the things I've noticed recently is if I'm online with you quite regularly online with, say, like Neil, Mark, Matt, Arnie, or whatever, I'll get to around about sort of what for me is late during the week, certainly 9:30 or whatever. And if these guys are still on, I go, all right, I got to go to bed, guys. And most of the guys at the same time will go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I really need to go to bed too. Dunk, 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 and everyone disappears off. Like it shuts the night down. I'll call you if you need me to. Like, if you know what you should do.
Messaged me at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't this time. It was a couple of weeks ago. It's like, are you working today? I was like, yeah. It's like, oh shit, look at the time. It's like, yeah. It's so funny. It's just like it's that one more thing, that one more turn that I've just got to finish doing this one thing. It won't take a minute.
No, it won't.
No, it'll take about an hour.
No, yeah, it takes about an hour. Yeah. So I know. It's
I'm gonna just start sending you messages if I see you're on it. So I just go put the caps, go to bed.
So it's fine. I'm used to it now. But yeah, I
Denial,
can't.
Neil. Do you see it? The denial. The
I can't.
denial
Well,
of the
I'm
problem.
not saying a word here because I'm fucking all over the place with sleep. So
So,
Well, yeah, but you don't have to get up for work. You don't get up for work
yeah.
2 hours after you
No.
finish gaming.
no.
So, yeah, it's I can only do it a few times. I'm absolutely shattered tonight, and I'm just like,
I know, and look who suffers. It'll be us at the end and be like, want to have a social with Dave. You go, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
yeah,
We could play chess.
You play chess. But no, I had a 10-minute nap, before coming on. But like waking up from my nap, I was just like, oh no! I was like, I was so disorientated because I think I need a really good sleep. But yeah, I had a nap and I woke up and I was just like, is it Saturday? Like I couldn't, my
What day
brain
is it?
couldn't work. Yeah, my
Yeah.
brain couldn't work out.
I don't know
I
what
only
day
had
any
a
day
very
is.
sleep. Um, so yeah, but that's it. That's the only game I've been really playing this week. I've got suckered
So
into another factory game.
is it much changed since the last time? You said it wasn't compatible. Have they brought a load of new stuff in?
Yeah, there's loads of new buildings, loads of different.
Because you finished it technically before. You did your Dyson Sphere.
I built a Dyson Sphere. Yeah. So I did it. Again, it's not the destination; it's the journey. That's
At 4 in the
the game
morning.
at 4 in the morning. So yeah, no, there's loads of different recipes. There's loads of new things. I had a quick look. I did make loads of blueprints from my previous game. Some of them still work, but they're not really optimal now. So yeah, just started again and yeah, just plodding along and making things to make other things. And I'm getting to a point now where I'm starting to not build a Dyson Sphere, but get to the point where I can start thinking about building a Dyson Sphere, and I'm 18 hours in. So
In a week.
yeah, since
This is well,
Monday.
it's not Destiny 2 numbers. So
He's trying.
yeah. Yeah, I just need to get the COVIDs, don't I?
I was doing all right without the COVID, to be fair.
And no, I'm still very much enjoying it. So yeah,
Classic Dave. It's classic. That,
yeah.
folks, is 100% Dave.
Yeah.
There we go.
But no, I'll get to the Dyson Sphere again, and I'll try and make something pretty cool, and then I'll cut. To be honest, you could just stop there, because that's like you're just in your solar system making a Dyson Sphere. You start off, and when you start, you can see there's like 20 odd different solar systems that you can do, so you can continue to go on. I'll probably stop at the one mega structure.
No, you won't.
I don't know. I
No.
get to a point and I'm like, nah, I've done it all now.
I'll be coming back to it in a year anyway, so.
Yeah.
Have they got a 1.0 date yet? Do we know?
Not that I'm aware of. I know there is talk about, because at the moment it's basically just you on your own in a solar system. They are on about having different opponents in and having a combat system like Factorio does. But even when I play Factorio, I turn all that shit off. It's just a building game for me. So I suspect something similar will be done. But no, it's just you against the elements, you against the resources. No.
All right.
Mm.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm not going to spend too much time on Hunt. I continue to play, but I will tell you, it's been one of those weeks. It's feast or famine with that game. I was having some cracking games before. Absolutely horrendous games this week. Fucking honestly, rage o'clock.
Yeah.
internally, I kept it in check, I think, as much as I could in the game. But I was just out for some runs with Gary or Matt. We were there's just no success. Hemorrhaging hunters. I did get my KD up to 1 finally. It's been inching up and up and up, and I got my KD to 1, but it went back down again to 0.99 the day later.
Fucking mate, anywhere around 1 is good.
So I'll take it. Yep. I'm sure it'll creep back up. Gary pointed out, I think we got a little bit overconfident when we were doing some runs, and so we got absolutely hammered. Whereas today I was a little bit more cautious in some solo runs, so it was a little bit more successful. But anyway, it still continues to be something that I will carry on playing and manage my expectations and frustrations as best possible. I just need to really not play that game when I'm tired. That's the key. But I was burned out a little bit by it this week, so I retired upstairs here to my office. And as you know, I have the new PC, but I don't have the graphics card, but I do have Steam involved, and it will play some games. And one of the interesting things is trying to find something to occupy a bit of time if I decide to come up to the office in the evening.
Instead of working.
And so I was looking at trying to just see what else I could play. Do you remember that Luck Be a Landlord, Dave? Or Neil? I think everybody tried it.
Dave, I'd never tried it. I remember Dave talking about it.
Yeah, the fruit. It's the fruit machine where you get extra things to add to the reels or whatever, and you're trying to collect cash to pay your.
Fun little game, actually.
Yeah, so I had a crack on that, which was fun. I did the demo, and then I was like, I don't think I want to. Do I want to pay and get the full game? I don't know. I do want the full game, but I just don't really want to pay the money for it. So
speaker money. You could put that money towards some speakers or something.
You could put it towards something. Yeah. And then another one I tried. So I was looking through the Steam of free to plays, and I wanted something casual. And so I saw this game called Mr. Mine. And
here we go.
I am going to tell you right now that I am not proud of myself. All right. At all. So Mr. Mine there is a term for these types of games, but an idle clicker or something like that, something like that.
Sounds about right.
Right. So anybody who perchance listened to Game Punchers back in the day, I actually checked the date of this. I went back, I think it was August 2013, I discovered Cookie Clicker. So at that time, nobody really knew what Cookie Clicker was, but over the years, Cookie Clicker has touched many people's lives, I'm pretty sure. And actually, I looked on Steam, and Cookie Clicker looks very flat, very, very swish now.
Was it like a flash game or something before?
I think it may have been, yeah. But there's loads of extras that because it's these things you can continually build on them. But anyway, so the process of Mr. Mine, premise of Mr. Mine, it's basically the same thing as a Cookie Clicker. So it's an idle clicker, and this one is all based around mining. And so you start off and you have one miner, and he goes and he starts chopping away, and he gets one bit of coal, and then he gets a second bit of coal, and then he gets a third bit of coal. And when you've got 10 bits of coal, you can buy a second miner. Now these two miners working together, now you're getting a piece of coal, a bit quicker, right? And then when you have 40 pieces of coal, guess what you can do? You can buy another miner. I know. Who would have thought?
What you want to do is then add a factory to that for them to convert the coal into diamonds.
Yes. Well, be very careful, because anyway, I'm done. I've already put 10 hours into it, right? I just pop it up. It was just perfect the other day when I got out to my office, and it was just mind-numbing. I don't know what it was. It was just exactly what I needed. I sort of had to think, but I didn't have to think, if that makes sense. Like this
does it work in the background? Well, it just carries on.
It does. It all carries. Okay, yeah, it all carries on, but you cannot get away without tending to it, right?
Do you like Farmville?
Yeah,
Farmville on Facebook, those kind of shit.
No, I think actually Dave should look at this game. And
I
maybe
don't
you
think
should,
Dave needs any encouragement.
because it's got some really neat elements, and I can't remember whether Cookie Clicker used those same elements, but so it does some different things. So all the time you have a giant drill that's drilling down layers. So at first off, your miners are only digging at 1 kilometer below one level.
Yeah.
And then as your drill, which operates at a set speed and power, drills down into the next layer, and everything scales, right? So every layer progressively needs more to get down. Everything, it all scales. But as you collect things like coal or diamonds or whatever it may be, and of course the further you go down, the different elements you start to discover, and then there's diamond, platinum, gold, isotopes of
Do you need
uranium,
to
and all this
upgrade your
sort of
drill
stuff.
when you get to harder things?
Exactly. You can keep upgrading the drill, right? But you can't just upgrade the drill with money. You've got to upgrade the drill with money, 50,
resources.
1,000 coal, 2,000 diamond, or whatever like that. And then, but managing all that at the same time, as your miners are collecting all these resources, you can sell the resources to go into your bank balance, which you have to do anyway, because sooner or later you can only hold so many resources, and you cap out, and all mining shuts down. No more mining, right? Until you now either sell a load of those resources or spend them. So you usually sell them or whatever. At the same time, you can put in a load of parameters where you're always holding on. Like you can say to the resource manager, do not sell. Always keep a minimum of 50,000 coal, because I know I need 50,000 coal for this upgrade. And so you're selling, but at the same time, your coal's not being sold because you need to get to a certain point. So it's all this sort of hands-on management. Then you can add in there, you get these super miners that you can send down into the mine. There are caves, robots for the caves. All the robots can be upgraded to go get stuff out of the caves. There's trading posts. All I'm saying is, oh, and of course there's tickets which you can buy with real money to speed everything up. But I haven't felt like I played it last night for a while, and there's always something going on. Like your miners discover chests, or suddenly you're managing some stuff and you're getting closer to an upgrade. There's very few points where I was just doing nothing, maybe there was a point for 10 minutes where I just had to let it run. There was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could spend. There was nothing. Everything was spent. I just needed them to find stuff and build
Get
up
more
my
coal.
resources. Get more coal. Crack the whip. There's all the upgrades of the miners. I don't know. Anyway, that's what it is. We've seen it before in Cookie Clicker. If you know what Cookie Clicker is, this is what it is. If you've had a 10-year break from a game like Cookie Clicker, come on in to Mr. Mine. Let me know if you're considering it, because apparently there's an achievement to send.
Oh Jesus!
Every time you hit a milestone, the guy gives you a reward. This guy who's for some reason is like really buff or whatever, sitting in a deck chair. I don't know. It's very weird. But
you're gonna add it to Discord. Add the link to Discord and see.
Yeah, I think I should see if anyone can just grab it and help me get that achievement.
Don't do it, people.
Don't knock it till you. But like I said, it's one of those things. Don't knock it till you try it.
I won't try.
I'm not happy with my. Well, it's like I feel like I shouldn't be happy. I feel unclean a little bit playing it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's the power wash.
Destiny's free to play.
Yeah, but I don't need a shooter in my life. That's the thing. This fills a void.
I see Lord's been going right down the Destiny rabbit hole by the look of it. Keep seeing his activity keeps buying expansions. I think he's in.
So that's Mr. Mine.
Very good. I approve.
I don't know. Oh, do you?
Not.
Thanks, Dave.
I don't.
Okay, I'm going to send Dave the link then. He's in. I love it. And that's it. So unless we have anything to add, I'm going to call the show, because I can see where we are on the time. We've made good time again. Anything to add, gentlemen?
No.
Have we had any people in on real-time Twitch?
We've had Mark and Arnie popped in to say hello. And Quaxel and Mid safe early on, early doors.
All right, thank you. Nice to see you guys. Thanks to everyone who. Oh, Dave, do you want to do your bit?
Yes. Oh, do my bit. You nearly stole my thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Seal Podcast. If you'd like to ask us questions and get involved, please contact us either on Twitter at Seal Podcast, email us at sealpodcast@gmail.com, or join us on a Discord server. A link is pinned on Twitter. We have YouTube and Twitch channels which we upload and stream to. Neil, do you want to do your shout out for people in the chats?
You just did. Come on,
Yeah,
Dave. Come on.
You can't read your scripts. He's already done it. He's already made me do it.
Scripted. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys. I much appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who wrote in, and we appreciate all the chat back and forth. Until next week. Oh, Dave's not with us next week.
I'm not here. No, I'm in on holiday in Lanzarote.
Oh, very nice.
Wow, very nice.
So yeah, brown sand apparently, or black sand.
Brown. I thought it was grey.
I don't know.
It's grey.
Not very nice.
It's volcanic.
So just for the sun.
All right.
Just get away from the British weather.
It's warm.
Good. All right. Well, have a nice time, and then we'll still be here. We'll be doing a show next week. We should have a guest. And
exciting.
Yeah. And okay. Until next time, then we'll catch you all later. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Cheers, guys. See you later. Bye.